Dare to be and professionally. If you're feeling stuck in a rut and unsure how to achieve your goals, then check out the Dare to Be Great event on May 20th at the Parkview Event Center at the Mall of America. It features two amazing nationally known speakers to give you that extra motivation. Jack Canfield, the legendary success coach and founder of the Chicken Soup for the Soul series, will share his proven formula for success with over 100 million books sold. And Michael Vukovic, the soulful success coach and author of The Mind, the Muscle, the Miracle, will inspire and empower the audience with science, philosophy, and evolutionary wisdom. General admission tickets are $197, while VIP tickets are $297 and include a private lunch and Q&A with the speakers and discounted tickets to the Nickelodeon theme park. Don't miss this amazing opportunity to learn from two gifted speakers and move your life from good to great. That's the Dare to Be Great event on Saturday, May 20th from 8 to 4 at the Parkview Event Center at the Mall of America. Tickets and details at outrageoussuccess.com.
Turn to Auto Technical with your vehicle donation. We have families waiting for a car. You know, over 85% of unemployed are successful in finding and keeping a job if they have dependable transportation. A car plus a job equals a life changed. 612-919-5526. We have families waiting for a car. 919-5526 or autotech.org.
Hey, Cudahy to all my friends and relatives in four directions. This is Robert Pilot of Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm here to ask you for your support. Finding honest Native-centered news is not easy. But with your support, we're able to provide accurate information about Standing Rock, Line 3, treaty violations, and COVID-19 in our Native communities. Please visit Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon and donate if you can. That's Native Roots Radio Network on Patreon. Pinigigi, and thank you for your support.
Would you let animals pick your insurance? Do you really need to experience mayhem to get the best rates? Or how about a celebrity quarterback or fake university saving you money? There's a lot of marketing stunts when it comes to insurance, but what you really need is someone looking out for you. Call Array Insurance, and they will work hard to find you the best insurance coverage and rates. So avoid gimmicks and call Cheryl at Array, 763-504-3067 or arrayinsurance.com. Array Insurance, working hard for you.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A chance of showers and storms tonight with a low of 54, then sunshine Tuesday with a high of 73. For more than 40 years, the Great Wall Restaurant has been serving up Szechuan and Mandarin favorites. The Great Wall is located just north of 50th in France on the Minneapolis-Edina City line. Check them out at greatwallrestaurant.us.
Portions of Native Roots Radio may be pre-recorded.
Good day to be indigenous.
Get up, stand up.
They are going to become more brutal.
Because all the hippies were trying to be Indians anyway.
They're going to become more repressive because it's a matter of dollars and their illusionary concepts of power.
Hey, Victor.
We must live in balance with the earth.
And also with recent happenings at Wounded Knee.
I am awake. Welcome to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and I'm your host, Wakanja Hade. Hey, to all my friends and relatives in four directions. You are listening to Native Radio presents I'm Awake. I'm your host, Rob Pilot. We discuss local and national Native news events. And as you know, Native issues are issues, and human issues are Native issues.
Yes, Robert, and this portion of the show is supported by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Hey, Pinigigi, they do. I had my double mic on there. That was me.
It was a little echoey. I was wondering what that was.
Well, you get to hear my great voice twice. No, just kidding. Hey, we have a whole chunk meeting here, show here the first half, and the second half we have Dr. Stately of the Native American Community Clinic. But first we have our Arvina, and I just messed that up, Arvina Martin, and I just choked. And we were really excited to have you on. I've heard so much about you, and we're on Civic Meeting. We're all over Wisconsin, in Madison, and all over, and of course here in the Twin Cities. You are the first Native person to serve as alder from 2017 to 2022, and you also served as the council vice president. So I am really excited to have you on here, and I'm
Yeah.
also excited to talk about your job now with Emerge Wisconsin. Welcome to Native Roots Radio.
Thank you, Honey Chukcha. Good to see you. I have to practice
Right
my
on.
Ho Chunk when I can.
Right on. Hey, Cudagy to all my friends and relatives. You see, I threw that in there.
I did.
Cool. Hey, so I love what your organization. Maybe at first, maybe you can just tell a little bit. I just touched lightly on it a little bit to our audience all over Turtle Island, who you are, and then also we'll get into Emerge Wisconsin, which I think is an awesome group, and that's from all over the country here that there's Emerge. So that's tell everyone who you are.
Yeah, thank you for having me. My name is Arvina Martin, Ho-chunk Razra Ho-hapchikere Wiga Higaire. My Ho-chunk name is Ho-hapchikere, and I'm really, really happy to be here with you. As you mentioned, I was the first Native person. A lot of people like to say first Native woman, but I'm the first Native person to be elected to the City of Madison, Wisconsin Common Council and I was first elected in 2017. And I completed 2.5 terms and served at the end of my term. I was the vice president of the council and only left when I got the job that I have now at Emerge Wisconsin because I wanted to make sure that both jobs were being done. They're two really important jobs, and making sure that both were being done up to the standards of the people that they serve. It was really important. So I started about a year ago as the executive director of Emerge Wisconsin. And Emerge is an organization that trains Democratic women on how to run for office. And it is a program I completed in 2014. And I'm really excited to be leading this really amazing organization now here in Wisconsin.
Let's talk a little bit about that organization, because I know we have similar organizations, not specific for our women, but we definitely have organizations here in the Minnesota that promote our Native electors and help them. We have a lieutenant governor here who's Native American, and we also have 3 representatives and 1 state senator who all have been on my show and come on my show on a regular basis. And we just celebrate the fact that we have all these strong women here in Minnesota.
Yeah.
I hope you guys are a little jealous in Wisconsin, but we're so happy.
Very jealous. Actually, I was able to not meet in person, but I was able to I guess virtually meet and get to know a little bit your Lieutenant Governor, Peggy Flanagan, because while she was running, I was running for Secretary of State here in Wisconsin. So that was in 2018. And so we were both cheering each other on from the other states. And yeah, you guys, I am jealous. I am jealous that you have Native representation and so much of it. That's super cool.
Well, and we were really, really supporting Tricia Zunker in that gerrymandered areas. The person that got more votes than her, it's just hard for us to understand. But then gerrymandering is a big thing.
Yes, and that district has gotten further gerrymandered. Wisconsin is pretty much known as the most gerrymandered state in the country, unfortunately. And we are hoping that with the election of soon to be, or Justice elect, I suppose, Janet Protasewicz here in Wisconsin, that switches the control of the state Supreme Court from conservative to progressive. We're hoping that we'll get a second chance to look at maps, and that we'll be able to bring that someone will bring a suit to hopefully, fingers crossed, change some of it and maybe go to a fairer model if we can.
Wow.
We are really hoping.
Well, and we are so happy. We had Janet Protasewicz on, and I practiced on her name, as you probably can realize. I practiced a lot, and she was on her show. Excellent. And elections do matter, and there's no such thing as an important election anymore. They're all important, and
Yes.
I'm so excited for our Gen Z because they almost outvoted my demographic, which is a boomer, and you can say okay boomer anytime. you and Haley can go okay boomer, but that's exciting, and that's game changing.
It really is. And we are actually, and part of the work that Emerge does is, like I said, training Democratic women on how to run for office. But we're also focusing on what is called the new American majority, because in the next decade, the electorate of the United States is going to be majority BIPOC, so people of color, queer, young, between the ages of 18 and 35, and unmarried women. So we are really looking at Emerge to be finding candidates and finding people to participate in our trainings that fit into that new American majority. And actually, I believe the latest stats that I've seen from the 2018 election show that demographic, that new American majority, is already voting big time and made up the majority of that electorate. So, you're absolutely right. We need our young people to be engaged and to continue to be engaged for every election. The quote, less sexy races that happen sometimes in the spring in Wisconsin, and we have them every spring. So, you got to go every time.
Yeah. Well, and I think we talk about the politics and everything on the show, and one of the things is, if you are like I was, my father was a big union guy, and I voted from the day I was 18, and it was Jimmy Carter and Ronald Reagan, and I lost my first election. But when you vote that young, you're liable to vote the rest of your life, and so that's important for us to get people out there to vote. Hey, let's take a quick break here and talk some more. We gotta pay the bills, and we're here with Arvina Martin, and I did good on that. Yep, thumbs up.
Yeah.
We are talking Wisconsin, Madison politics, and just politics all around, and her great job with the merge of Wisconsin. And we'll be right back after this short break. Please stay with us. Ho!
We are your relatives.
We are your relations.
Brothers,
sisters,
sons,
daughters.
And some of us are your grandchildren.
We are your community. Historically, we held places of honor and respect. Because of the impact of colonization, some of us are rejected, thrown out from family, friends, and community, set up as targets for sexual violence, sex trafficked, humiliated, tortured, and murdered. Everybody has the right to be safe. We are your relatives. Remember,
homophobia is not traditional.
Sponsored by the Minnesota Indian Women's Sexual Assault Coalition.
Students at participating Twin Cities high schools can get a summer's worth of rides on buses and light rail for just $30 with a summer student pass. From June 1st through September 5th, students can get unlimited rides on buses and trains up to a $3.25 fare. For a list of participating schools and to purchase a pass, visit metrotransit.org/summer-student-pass. Again, that's metrotransit.org/summer-student-pass.
Life is a journey, and the Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas will help you get where you want to go. Located in downtown Minneapolis, this affordable 2-year college provides free textbooks, a laptop, meals, career coaches, and a Metro Transit pass, making DFC the perfect pathway to a bachelor's degree. Turn your dreams into reality at Doherty Family College at the University of St. Thomas. Apply today at dfc.stthomas.edu.
When it comes to mental health, connections with others can be a way forward. How do you reach out when you need someone? What do you do to support those who struggle? Whether you're struggling or know someone who struggles, see connections as comfort, hope, and joy, like sending a text, sharing a moment, offering a hug, seeing an old friend, seeing your grandma. Together we can find ways to create a path forward. Visit cmentalhealth.org. Visit cmentalhealth.org.
Hi, I'm Jane Fonda, and you're listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by the Native American Community Development Institute in Minneapolis.
Yes, it is. And we are really happy to have them sponsor us over the years, and they do great work here in the upper Midwest. Hey, we are here with Arvina Martin, Executive Director of Emerge Wisconsin, an organization that trains Democratic women on how to vote for office. Wow. Let's talk a little bit about how we get Native candidates and how that happens and how you can help them. Let's start the process in the beginning here, because I don't know this, but I know there are people out there that could be running, and I always hate the word should, because I don't like shooting on people, but should be running.
Yeah, I mean, we have so many people and so many members of our communities that are thoughtful, that have great perspectives and connections within their own communities and care about their communities, and their voices 100% need to be heard on elected bodies. Through Emerge, I worked with one of our partner organizations, Wisconsin Progress, recently to create a presentation that we gave at the Wisconsin Indian Education Association annual conference a couple of weeks ago. And it was based entirely on why we need more Native people on school boards and what to do if you're considering running for that, running for your school board. I firmly believe that we need more Native voices on every elected body in this entire country. We are woefully underrepresented nationwide and in Wisconsin as well. It's even hard to find statistics on numbers of Native people who are elected to various bodies. But the presentation that we did was well received. We had way more guests that came to participate and listen to us than I anticipated, which was incredible. And I think we were able to plant some seeds and to, make sure that people know that the first thing people ask is like, well, am I qualified? Yes, you're qualified. You are absolutely qualified. In the context of school boards, are you a Native person that's been to school? Yeah, you have those experiences. Yeah, you can share that, and your perspective is sorely needed. And we have school boards that still hang on to their terrible Native mascots, who won't let Native people wear, or Native students wear, eagle feathers or beadwork on their graduation caps. And those are even kind of like the lighter, with air quotes for people who can't see me, issues that don't even touch on making sure that all students in their school districts are learning a proper history and are being educated about Native people, Native history, and Native people today. So I think that school board is kind of the easiest way to think about, or the easiest position to see yourself making a difference and understanding what you do, because sometimes it can be kind of nebulous. What do you do on city council or county board? And school board, it's pretty clear, working for the better education of children in that district.
Right. And not banning books and
Not
things
banning
like that.
books. Yeah, I mean, even especially with all of the things that we've seen happening in Florida and Texas, those decisions have effects on school books nationwide, and they are trying to take things out. Like the reason why Rosa Parks was, arrested was because she sat somewhere she wasn't supposed to, completely omitting the fact that she wasn't, quote, supposed to sit there because she was Black. And it's absolutely absurd. And we need some people that understand what that impact has on our youth and both Native and non-Native.
Right. And I think, just being active, we talk about, let's get everybody out there to vote.
Mhm.
Uh, but also active. What is going on with your neighborhood, especially school board? I mean, these decisions are for our up and coming workers, leaders, voters,
Mhm.
and those are big decisions. I was a teacher for 30 years, but I also remember certain teachers in my lifetime that really inspired me, and we're losing teachers. I was at a event today, and there was 3 school districts there looking for people to, St. Paul and Minneapolis, which are the 2 big ones here in the Twin Cities, are looking for paraprofessionals, teachers, and so we feel not belt, but beat down, and we don't have the support, and we need people that are engaged, and also,
Mhm.
we need Native people too, because I was on the parent committee for many years, and those are, things like the district saying, we 56% of our Native kids graduating is a good thing, and I'm saying, you
Yeesh.
know what? If this was white kids, this would be all over the news, and this would be, uh, the red alert would be hitting. But right
Yeah.
now, it's okay that we have 56% Native kids graduating, those kind of things.
Well, and this is how we start to build the bench, and then we have Native people by starting with local offices like school board or city councils, town councils. Then you build up some of those skills and those with legislating, and you get to make those connections that you can have to run for higher office, and then that's how we get more people in our state legislatures, and hopefully in Wisconsin, we can catch up to you guys with the number of Native legislators you have. And then, those are the people then that will support better pay for teachers and educational professionals
Right.
who work in the schools. And then they can run for Congress. And I mean,
Right.
that's not always the way that has to go. If you look at Sharice Davids, her first race was for Congress, and that
Right.
was incredible. But we can build this bench with Native people, and heck, why, when people, I feel like I like to answer a lot of questions about like how many do we need, and I think about the Ruth Bader Ginsburg quote, when there are 9, when there are 9 women on the Supreme Court, when that's enough, sure, but we need Native people everywhere at every level of government, because not just because we need people making sound decisions and having sound different perspectives, but also these are the people that work with our tribes and our tribal governments. And how I know that I worked quite extensively, when I was on city council, making people aware of issues that affected tribes, or how complicated it is to work with agents, multiple federal agencies, state agencies, local agencies, and tribal agencies together to get a single project accomplished. Like, that is like a decades long process. I
Mhm.
mean, and it's just, I'm also feel very strongly, and I'm adding to our curriculum here in Wisconsin for Emerge, a kind of Tribes 101 section, so that any of my graduates that go out will have an understanding of what treaty rights, what that phrase means, why they have to work with tribal governments, why tribal governments are peer governments and not just another quote special interest, that these
Right.
are peers that you need to work with. And we need it all. We need way more representation. And that's kind of my goal, is to expand what being a candidate means, and not just for Native people, for other communities that are underrepresented. But I'm starting obviously with the Native community, because I know the Native community better than the others, obviously,
Right.
and that's where I can start.
Well, and we only got a couple minutes left here, and I just want to say, breaking the glass ceiling and becoming a common council for Madison is huge because, our lieutenant governor talks about, and also State Representative Heather Keeler talk about constantly that they go into that building, and that building was not made for them. We have big paintings, sculptures of Native Americans bowing down to the white people, and
Lord.
it's all eerie and weird, but it's a place that wasn't made for us. But with you breaking that glass ceiling and being and leading Emerge, that's you've done it. You're doing it. You've done it, and that's huge.
Well, to that point, a really quick story. I was invited to the White House earlier this spring to talk about the impact of a lot of the Biden administration policies on Wisconsin. And when we were in the what's called the Indian Treaty Room, which curiously never had any treaties signed there with Indian tribes or with the nation of India. So we're not clear on that. But I got up to speak to talk about those impacts on Native communities and on women in Wisconsin. And I introduced myself in Ho-Chunk. And when I sat down, I almost, I had to take a moment because I could not believe that I just sat in the Indian Treaty Room at the White House and introduced myself in my language to a bunch of White House officials. And that moment was really powerful for me. And we need way more of those moments and way more than just me.
Well, let me tell you, that gave me chills, and I'm dead serious. Arvina, Martin, let's have you on more often because this is discussions that we definitely need for the next cycle that's coming up. But we need to get our women voters and our women candidates out there. Peeny Gigi for being on. You like how I threw it?
Yeah.
I'm almost not fluent. All right, we'll see you soon.
You so much.
Peeny, really, thank you so for coming on. This was huge. Up next, Dr. Stately. We'll be right back after this short break. Stay with us.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Students at participating Twin Cities high schools can get a summer's worth of rides on buses and light rail for just $30 with a summer student pass. From June 1st through September 5th, students can get unlimited rides on buses and trains up to a $3.25 fare. For a list of participating schools and to purchase a pass, visit metrotransit.org/summer-student-pass. Again, that's metrotransit.org/summer-student-pass.
Hi, this is Chad from AM 950. Snap Construction is arguably the most well-reviewed roofing, siding, window, and insulation contractor in the metro. Ryan is so excited about working with AM 950 and our listeners that he wants to help us grow.
This is Ryan, owner of Snap Construction. I was friends with Chad long before I started marketing with him. I was a bit skeptical of radio advertising before Chad convinced us to run ads. The advertising's been so successful, we want to help the station grow. We've absolutely loved working with the listeners of AM 950, and we all know how extremely important this radio station is to the community. To help AM 950 grow, Snap Construction will be putting up proceeds to assist the station in marketing on social media. Snap Construction encourages you to follow, engage, share, and interact on the AM 950 social media platforms. Together, we can all work to ensure AM 950 continues to thrive and grow in our communities. We stand by our work with a lifetime craftsmanship guarantee. For a free estimate or more information on our financing, call 612-333-SNAP or check us out online.
Hey, it's Patrick. So much of what makes us a family takes place in our home. These walls provide an intimate space for all of the small moments that bring us together, and that bond grows stronger year after year. And like any other relationship, your home requires the same love and attention. This is why you should trust in the power of Zero Res to take care of your home. At Zero Res, we don't use harsh soaps or chemicals. ZR water is tough on stains and dirt while still safe for you and your family. So contact Zero Res today to clean your home, because a clean home is a healthy home. Just check out the 15,800 raving customer reviews online with a 4.9 Google rating. Visit ZeroResMinnesota.com to get 3 rooms of carpet zero-resified starting at just $129, which is a savings of $40, and take $75 off an air duct cleaning. Make sure to mention you want the AM 950 special. Zero Res, backward or forward, spells the same.
I love my Toyota vehicles, so when I have to get service done, there's only one place I go. Rudy Luther Toyota. They know Toyotas inside and out. It starts with them checking your alignment and tire treads with the Hunter Quick Check Drive Inspection Service. Oil changes, tires, batteries, wipers, no matter what you need done, they can help you with reliable Toyota parts and the best service team in Minnesota. Check their website, rudyluthertoyota.com, for service and parts specials just for your Toyota vehicles. Get your Toyota serviced at Rudy Luther Toyota, 394 and 169 in Golden Valley.
With your AM 950 weather, I'm Patrick Lilia. A chance of showers and storms tonight with a low of 54, then sunshine Tuesday with a high of 73. Jazz and cabaret legend Marilyn May appears for 6 shows to celebrate Mother's Day and her 95th birthday at Crooner Supper Club. Shows are May 11th through 14th and make a perfect Mother's Day gift. Tickets and more at croonersloungemn.com.
This is Leonard Peltier and Coleman 1, U.S. Penitentiary, and I'm listening to Native Roots Radio.
And we're back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awakened. This is Robert Pyler.
This portion of the show is supported by Native American Community Clinic on Franklin Avenue in Minneapolis, honoring health and tradition.
Yes, they do. And we have the CEO of the Native American Community Clinic here, Dr. Stately. And Dr. Stately, it's a busy time. It's always a busy time for you, but it's a busy time for you. And I really appreciate you coming on and running home really fast. I really appreciate it.
Thank you. Sorry, bonjour, everyone. I'm sorry I'm late. It was crazy getting back from the Capitol to my house. So, yeah. It's a really bad
and you
car
weren't
accident
late.
on 94. So
You weren't late. You were right on time. We had a guest before you,
nice.
and to warm up the, warm up the microphone, so to speak.
Warm up the audience. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Prime the audience.
Exactly. Well,
were there jokes better than mine or no?
It was pretty serious. We were talking. It was pretty serious. We were talking about Emerge Wisconsin with the executive director and how we get more women to run for office, and so that was pretty intense and pretty exciting. And it was a Ho-Chunk lady that was on, so it was 3 Ho-Chunks on, and it was crazy.
Oh God, that sounds.
You know
like a
how
party.
many there are? Huh?
I said that sounds like a party.
Yeah, exactly. So big happenings at the Capitol here coming up on the 10th, I believe.
Yeah. So the 10th is in 2 days. Yeah, 2 days. So there's a number of things that are moving, and things are moving kind of rapidly at the Capitol. I had a meeting with some people from the governor's cabinet before I left for the day, and as I was walking out, I heard like this raucous cheering and screaming and hooraying, and and I was like, gosh, I wonder what's going on. And it was like people gathered outside the Senate chambers, right? So as I was walking through, and they were all excited and cheering the passage of the I think family medical leave bill. So yeah, so that was it passed along party lines, 34 to 33, which is I think to be expected. So
yeah.
But I mean, that's a big deal. Like, people will be able to, if they have a critical family event or a critical health issue, and or they have, they're pregnant and they give birth to a child, or have a child, they'll be able to take the leave that they need to be able to sort of take care of themselves, stabilize their families. These are all things that are really important and fundamentally, good practices. Nice to know that the state passed the bill. NAC adopted a FMLA policy, giving giving everybody that leave that several months ago, I think about maybe last summer. But it's good to institutionalize it. It's like one of the things that, if you are a poor person and you are working, and you don't have the resources to, you don't have a nest egg saved up, and you don't have the ability to sort of take time off. These are one of the critical reasons why maternal and child health rates are so, one contributory factor, at least, for poor maternal and child health rates for Black and Indigenous women in our state. The feeling like the compulsory feeling that you have to go right back to work, right after having birth, and not paying attention to your health care and taking the time to heal and bonding with your baby, and there's all kinds of things that it sort of makes a lot of sense to pass that bill.
It really does. And again, proud to be a Minnesotan here. And, with Wisconsin's struggles and what we're doing with the trifecta, people in the next generation or 2 generations from now or 5 years from now, just like, all the big thing about gay marriage and stuff, would probably be wondering, why didn't you pass this a long time ago? This just makes so much sense. And we're living in a transitional time, I believe.
I think that there's, I was listening to that other radio station we don't really talk about on the way to work today. And I was, there was a person on the air that was talking about how much of a, critical time we're living in at this moment in time. There's so many things that are going on locally, regionally, but also nationally, internationally as well, that are sort of just big transitions in, and democracy and power and, and how unsettling those things can be, right? And I think one of the things that we know as Indigenous people, because we've been through this so many times, and this experience, we've been going through this process for several hundred years by now, that the impact of colonial power, the impact of colonialism, and those things weigh especially heavy in our communities and impact our people, and much more greatly than some industrialized and wealthy nations, right? So.
Right. Well, and I don't know. I feel really positive about what's going on up there, and and the things that are happening. And tomorrow we're going to have State Representative Heather Keeler on the whole show tomorrow, and that'll be exciting because we haven't checked in with her since the session, and she's been so busy being a rock star. But one of the things I'd like to ask you is, I think it takes a big toll out of people that really care. The ones that don't care that much are living happily ever after, but I think it takes a big toll on people because there's so much they're carrying for us. Do you see that with our elected officials that are really kicking butt?
Yeah, I mean, I think I have good relationships with a number of elected officials who I either know as colleagues who we worked together in the past, or I've worked with them on other things. I have a fairly decent relationship with the elected officials that represent the area in which NAC itself as a nonprofit operates in, which is South Minneapolis and and the communities that I serve and our clinic serves. I have good relationships with those representatives. They are working day and night and day to improve the lives and the conditions and the environment and the neighborhoods that they serve, and the people that live in those neighborhoods. with organizations like mine and other services and other kinds of things. But they are constantly giving significant amounts of themselves and their time and their energy to the improving the conditions legislatively that they have the ability to sort of impact in the work they do. They're, it's a really busy time at the Capitol right now because their end of session is like 2 weeks away. And so people are working day and night and day, sometimes around the clock to try and get those bills passed and negotiations accomplished. And, it is, fundamentally for me, it is baffling to me that we are that we are having, when I say we, our legislature is a little divided still, even though the Democrats control both the House and the Senate and also the governor's cabinet. But there's still a significant amount of differences of opinion, and in both the House and the Senate, there's narrow margins in those places, and the amount of challenges that presents for being able to come to consensus and to reach agreement, and our state has the largest surplus in money that it has ever had, writ large, and its history, and we're quibbling over millions of dollars and who should get those things, and tax breaks and a few other things, and still struggling with like conversations around what's equitable tax for people who are wealthy, what's equitable for when the health inequities and the social inequities and the educational inequities and all these other inequities that we see in Black and Indigenous and other people of color communities, just historic. I don't like to call them disenfranchised communities. I'm really intentional about language. I think language defines the way we see the world and the way we talk about it, and then the decisions that it drives from that point forward. And we're not talking about disenfranchisement here. We're talking about generations and generations and generations. So decades and hundreds of years of disinvestment in communities of Black and Indigenous people that have also no access to generational wealth, right?
Right.
And so the conversation about like, well, should we give paid family medical leave to people who are too sick to work, or they have an emergency issue, or they give life to a child, which for Indigenous people is like one of the most precious things you can ever have, right? It's like that conversation, the fact that we can't come to agreement and understand how fundamental that is to support is like problematic to me. It's a defining feature of the problems in our society.
Amen to that. Right on. Hey, I'm here with Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities of Minneapolis. Got time for another segment with us?
Sure. Yep.
You're golden. Hey, we're going to be right back after this short break. You are listening to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake.
Hey, Olgama, I've been hearing a lot about this term, climate justice. What is that?
Climate justice is recognizing that the negative impacts of climate change don't affect all people equally. It also means transitioning from a fossil fuel-based economy to a more sustainable future. MN350 is one of the groups that's pushing for this transition to protect our futures. You can even get involved too.
That's great, especially since I'm concerned about pipeline projects like Line 3. How can I help MN350?
Just find them on Facebook or visit mn350.org.
Over 98% of people who experience sexual harassment or sexual assault in the workplace choose not to report it. Whether it's the fear of retaliation, belief that a bystander will report it, or worry about career advancement, at MJSB Employment Justice, we help employees take a stand. I'm Bree Johnson, partner at MJSB Employment Justice, a 50% women-owned law firm. If you feel unsure what to do following sexual harassment, we will be your voice to speak your truth.
Be heard. You deserve better. Contact us today for a free consultation at mjsbjustice.com.
J&S Bean Factory is a native-owned, community-supported, cozy, artsy coffee shop which offers roasted on-site beans, live music, and baked goods. Relax in the beautiful outside patio. City Pages writes, voted top 10 coffee shops. Tucked into a quiet corner of St. Paul's Highland Park neighborhood, this coffee shop roasts beans on-site from the best coffee-growing countries in the world. Located at 1518 Randolph Avenue, St. Paul. The good stuff.
Minnesota has the only original wolf population in the continental United States.
And 80% of Minnesotans believe the wolf should be protected.
Howling for Wolves is asking Minnesotans to respect our true wildlife manager, the wolf.
Their survival is critical to our ecosystems, our communities, and even our economy.
As highly intelligent animals with strong social bonds, Minnesota wolves deserve to be protected and admired.
Learn more at howlingforwolves.org. Let's live and let howl. Howl!
Welcome back to Native Roots Radio presents I'm Awake, and this is Robert Pilot.
This portion of the show is supported by Minnesota 350, a grassroots organization fighting for climate justice.
Oh, darn, I thought we were going to howl. Ho! Ho! Oh! This portion's also brought to you by Howling for Wolves, protecting wolves for future generations. How? Right on. Hey, we're here with Dr. Stately, CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis, and it's always good to catch up with you about what's going on in the community.
This guy
It's
thinks
like Dr. Stately's playing with his. We howled and his dog gets a little crazy, so
he thinks he's being called to be on the radio, like
well, that other radio station you listen to probably would never do that. So I feel proud that we are calling our relatives with tails and hooves and big ears and noses and stuff.
Hey, don't talk about me like that.
I was talking about myself, but anyways, I got little hooves, so that's probably the only difference.
Well, don't feel inadequate when you're standing next to me.
Okay. Wait a minute, I gotta find the right sound effect for that. Yeah, there it is. One more time. Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, it is like I had a weekend that was quite busy, so I honestly did not track news at all during the weekend. I didn't listen to any major stories. I didn't watch 60 Minutes. I didn't, I barely listened to that. The only thing I listened to the other radio station on was that's my favorite thing to listen to on Saturdays, by the way, is Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Oh, yeah.
We should come up with our own version,
Yes.
our indigenous version of Wait, Don't Tell Me. We got to find a couple of really funny people, maybe Dallas Goldtooth and a few other people to do our little Wait, Don't Tell Me.
Wait a minute.
Episode.
You and I are funny enough to pull that off. Come on.
Probably, yeah. But the point is on Wait, Don't Tell Me, the hosts are funny, but then so is the studio employee or the staff. But you invite somebody in to come on and they compete against your everyday. We could call some random person off of a res somewhere and have them compete against Dallas Goldtooth to see who's funnier. I bet you'd have some good challenges from some places.
Oh, we have a plethora of comedians here that would probably be good to start that off on.
Yeah, we'll have to think of indigenous way to say instead of Wait, Don't Tell Me, be I don't know, something else hey, did you hear that story about so and so?
Wait, give me the fry bread. Oh, wow.
There you go. Yeah.
Or all the old 49er jokes, but we won't get into that now.
Oh yeah, no. This is a family show.
That's right. That's right.
But yes, I was busy with hockey, four hockey games in 3 days. It's
Wow.
quite a bit. All of them are up in the North Metro because I'm that dad that didn't sign them up in time to play down by our area.
Oh,
busy working for the people.
Right.
So I drive them up to North Metro like every single hockey game, and it's been quite a lot over the last couple of weeks. But my kids and their team, they love their team. They're skating with all new people that they haven't skated with before.
Wow.
And I think it's interesting. Like it really is a metaphor for me, I think, in some ways, to watch them sort of like excel and perform on the ice in ways that I hadn't seen them perform before. And one of the things I was thinking about was like, they're working with a whole bunch of people they've never really actually skated with before. They have to, pay attention to like the game and see what's going on. They got to anticipate and try to intuit and expect where the person's the people that they're skating with on the ice are gonna show up next. They got to anticipate where that puck's gonna end up. A whole lot of work that they have to do, and I'm shocked at how well they performed over the last couple of weeks. They've won every single one of their games in the last 2 weeks, and
it's good that they're playing with other people. I think that's probably the thing you could put there, because you always want that. That's a great people. You get better when you play with different people.
You get better. You get better when you play with different people. You get better when you play against teams that are harder, that are more advanced than you. Like everything about that requires you to sort of like step forward and really stretch yourself if you want to also excel, right? And so I think that's a really good metaphor for like the way we think about like how do we sort of like find our path out of the things that we are struggling with in our communities now, right? And in our cities and our states, our regions, if not the country. Is like, think about like, stop going to drink from the same trough and eat from the same plate you've always eaten from. Like, think about like how you might be able to improve on your own sort of like personal and professional mission by working with somebody you haven't worked with before. Invite innovation and idea and generation and intuitiveness into your everyday life in a different way. That's uniquely an indigenous model too. I think the way of operating in the world,
Yeah.
I think people think historically we stayed in one spot, but we traveled all over Turtle Island and worked together on all kinds of things, right?
Absolutely. I remember 15, 20 years ago, I had a team teach with somebody, and that was because of something, and I didn't really like that, but I'm telling you, I carried so many good things from this person I team taught with for a couple of years that changed my whole career, really.
Yeah.
And at first it was fear. It's like, I'm not gonna learn anything from him. I do film and video. What's this math teacher gonna teach me? But he taught me how to teach in a good way that I didn't do before.
Yeah. I think it's also about like opening ourselves up to like one of the things I think I know, like I just think like when I talk to elders, they're like, they even talk about how they're learning something new all of the time. And one of the things that we are uniquely sort of that's part of our indigeneity is like we consider ourselves to be lifelong learners, right? Creator put us on this earth to sent us here as spirits, and then gave us a set of original instructions that are sort of kind of loosely defined, right? How to operate on this planet and be a good human being and good relative to each other, but really kind of gave us a framework, and then how we interpret that framework and apply it in sort of in our everyday lives and our lived experiences, to use the intuition that he gave us, and one of the seven senses we gave us. to sort of like interpret that and to use that to sort of go out in the world and be a good relative and to create new life, new relationships, new life, and life giving and life supporting, opportunities. We've been doing that since the beginning of time. It's part of what is definitive and unique about us and our indigeneity, right? It's part of why we are so resilient.
We're still here. We are still here.
Yeah.
Well, go ahead, Doctor.
We can't be put down. There's that Cheyenne proverb that says the heart of a nation is undefeated until the hearts of its women are on the ground, and it speaks uniquely to like the women are the symbol of life creation and the creation of all things. So it's just
wow,
good thing to remember.
Wow, really good words to end the show with. Pinigigi Dr. Stately, the CEO of Native American Community Clinic here in the Twin Cities, Minneapolis. Hey, if you're listening to the show, you are part of the resistance from Chief Plenty Coups. The ground on which we stand on is sacred ground. It is the blood of our ancestors. We need to resist, divest, join a group, or run for office. You're listening to Native Roots Radio. We'll see you tomorrow. Ho! Free Leonard Peltier now.
It's an absolute